We're going to shoot something really big.
Today I want to talk about the one thing the film industry tells you that might be killing your career. And that is that if you make work good enough, we'll find you. It doesn't happen that way. And I hear it on social media all the time, right? Just make great work, dude, and they'll find you. Not at all. And that's what film schools are teaching. That's what people walk around the industry thinking. It's not true. Why? Because buyers of content, and online content in particular, that means web series or digital films, are not in the content business. They are in the eyeball business. They are in the advertising business. They make their money by putting up content in a platform that has an audience, selling ad units against it, meaning impressions and click-throughs. And then the more time that that's watched, the more money they make. They are not in the celebrating art business. They are movers of money from advertisers through your audience into their pocket. That's how it works. So a great idea is not something that is going to move the needle for them. Nobody will keep their job by just celebrating art. That doesn't mean that great work isn't a component of it. Keep doing that. I would never suggest not to do that. But there is so much great work out there that never gets seen. And the reason it doesn't get seen is because it never had an audience in the first place, and the filmmaker never did anything to get that audience. The filmmaker went heads down for a year, making an 8-episode awesome piece of work, and then at the end of that, posted on Facebook, well, it's finally here, check out my stuff, right? The trailer to my new thing. And then they post for 2 weeks and they release all 8 episodes once a week like it's a television show. And they started out with 600 people, maybe 1,500, and it went down from there. How many times do we see this? Why is that? Because for that entire year, nobody knew that person was making anything. Nobody knew what that person was an expert at. Nobody knew why that person was deserving of my time or the audience's time. People pay with time on the internet. If they give you their time, that means they're engaged. And when they get engaged, they're more likely to come into your world, sign up for your mailing list, subscribe to your YouTube channel, whatever, right? And that's what the market responds to. If the industry, if a buyer is sitting there with a decent piece of content with 200,000 people on it, and an amazing piece of content with 200 people on it, they're going to choose the okay, serviceable, competent piece of content because they'll keep their job. So I'm not trying to be harsh, but this is the reality of the business. If you want to figure out how to solve this issue, then you need to start building that audience, and here's how. Let's say you're into romantic comedy. You can't just be an expert at making romantic comedies. You need to be an expert at romantic relationships. You need to be able to talk about those in a broader sense than just, hey, I'm making this one thing. And out there is a ton of audience, whether it's people talking about not being able to find a relationship because they work too much, or it's people saying, I'm sick and tired of meeting people at bars and being on dating websites and this and that. How do I meet people? Those people are actually part of your audience. They want to talk about this. And if they find that there's a piece of content that speaks to their pain and their problem of not being able to find that relationship that they're hoping for, and you're the one who delivers it, you have now just developed somebody who will not only watch your stuff, but they'll share your stuff and they'll talk about your stuff. One of those people is worth hundreds, if not thousands of other people who then surround you and are measurable. I am somebody who owns a big mailing list. I don't worry about likes and this and that, but I use social media to drive them into my world. Maybe you want to own Facebook. Maybe you want to own Instagram. Maybe you want to do that and gather your audience there. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the market responds to you because of this. You became an expert. You built influence. That influence built audience, and that audience gave you leverage. Sitting at the table with an audience, they're more likely to give you a bigger check. If you go in and just happen to luck out and get that awesome project in front of them and they say, yeah, we'll buy it, they'll do, here's 10 grand, thank you very much. We don't really know you. You haven't shown any market proof, but we love the idea. We're gonna take it and make it our own. And you can have a little piece of it. It's a business model, but it's a long shot. Versus you have 200,000, 300,000 people around you. We not only want the idea and are willing to pay you for the intellectual property rights to it, but we want you to make it and we'll pay you to do that too. Now you've just turned one piece of content into 2 revenue streams. So what I'm asking you to do is flip the script. Instead of making this awesome thing and then going and trying to find an audience after 2 weeks of posting on Facebook and Twitter and expecting a multi-million person audience or in the hundreds of thousands so that you can finally make the work you've always wanted to be known for, flip the script. Before you ever make anything, start talking about those subject matters and start bringing people into your world. And then start introducing concepts for what you're making and see what's playing in that audience, because they'll tell you. The best way to think about this is build a product for an audience that already exists rather than build an audience for a product that already exists.